Okay, awesome. Welcome, everyone. It's our Tuesday night team call, and we have a jam-packed call. So I'm just going to get right to business. We have Brinley, who's on, Brinley Riggs from corporate, and she has been generous enough to get on our calls here and there just to help keep us up to date on all the corporate announcements and all the great things that we have going on with our busy spring. And so post-convention, this is kind of our post-convention call as well. And so we're going to throw it over to you, Brinley, and let you go ahead and give us some information, some announcements. And then I know you've got a puppy emergency, so we're going to let you pop off. So thank you for joining us tonight.
Yeah, thanks everyone for being on. I do have a puppy emergency. It's not my own, but my brother and his fiance's puppy is missing. So we're gonna go searching and put up some posters tonight. So wish us luck.
Okay. Pray for the puppy. Pray for the
Yeah,
puppy to return.
pray for the puppy return. She's a little golden micro golden doodle.
Okay.
So very expensive dog to say the
Oh,
least. But yeah, so we're hoping for the best, but you never know, right? So,
okay.
all right. I'm gonna
Okay,
share
and
my
I
screen.
allowed you to do the co-hosting, so hopefully that,
Perfect.
sorry about that. I
First
forgot.
things first, I'm just going to use the website because the website is the resource that you guys have. So I want you guys to be able to know that you can find all of this information either on the website or on the hub. So first things first, we announced some really exciting things at Global Convention, which is always so much fun. So if you were there, awesome. This is kind of going to be that quick repeat. So make sure you guys get registered for our virtual event in July. This is free. So make sure you get registered. It's going to be really fun and exciting. We know that we like to announce fun things on there. So if you want the scoop first, make sure you guys get registered and you guys are on that event. The next one is Momentum Academy in the fall in October. We're going to be in Dallas, so make sure you get registered for that also. And as always, you can just hit register today and it'll take you to the registration page. We also have regular pricing right now. So if you'd missed the opportunity of the early bird, make sure you take advantage of this now because the on-site pricing gets a little pricey. And the room blocks. These fill up really fast. So make sure you get registered and take advantage of the room block while it's available. Don't want to miss any, don't want anyone to miss out on the nice cheap pricing. Save your guys some dimes, right?
Yeah.
Couple other things that were announced. The MB activation promise. Now, I've been getting a lot of questions on this. So what this means is if someone signs up on an MB, right, they're doing their activation accelerators, they're taking the MB consistently, and they just, don't feel like it's working for them. Well, we have an opportunity for them and for you, for them to try other products and for you to keep them as a customer or consultant. So if they have kept their subscription for 3 consistent months, they haven't made any changes, none of that, they can get a free Healthy Glow stack on their next subscription. The only kicker with this is they had to have signed up in April. If they signed up before April, call customer service and see what options they've got, but this is for the people who have signed up April on. So if you have anyone before that's maybe hitting their 12-week marker right now, feel free to call customer service and see what options they might have for them. But this is going to be really great moving forward just because you're going to be able to get them on something else that they will be able to see results pretty quickly, or at least feel results pretty quickly. And then maybe later down the line, seeing if they're interested in getting back on the mind body system. Next thing that was announced, does anyone have any questions? If anyone has any questions, feel free to interrupt me or put them in the chat. I'll be happy to answer them. Next thing that we announced was the executive destination trip location, which is Thailand, and that's pretty exciting. Definitely a bucket list trip for many, and if it's not, make sure you put it on your vision board or on your bucket list, because you could qualify this year. Really, I think for a lot of you guys, it would just be you hitting EC1 by November and then maintaining it in December. You only have to hit it 2 times. So if you hit it sooner, awesome. Just one of those months has to be in December. So growing at a, nice and steady rate up until November, hit it then, and then maintaining in December is going to be pretty awesome, because that way it's going to be a lot easier to maintain and be able to build up to. And if you guys have any questions on this, please reach out to Marilyn. If, she can always reach out to me or utilize customer service. They're awesome at answering all those questions. Next thing up is the shoe incentive. If you haven't seen the shoes, I can pull up a picture real quick. Let me try and find it. But to qualify for the shoes, you need to have at least 2 new SC1s, not EC1s. That would be nice. If you have 2 new SC1s and they have signed up April 1st all the way until June 30th, and they hit SC1 in their launch period, then you are able to earn the shoes. Now, what's in it for them? They are able to get a $150 bonus for hitting SC1 on top of the bonus that they're already earning. So they can earn up to $300 just by hitting SC1. So really that's anywhere from $500 to $800 total, if you want to look at it that way, which is pretty huge for someone coming in right off the bat. So here are those shoes if you haven't seen.
And SC1 is that 2000 in volume, and you're frozen. Are you there?
If you're in that category, then you can qualify for the shoe. So make sure you guys are pushing, even if you're like, I'm not a shoe person. Imagine how huge that extra $150 would be for that new person signing up. And I would even challenge you guys, once you do get them signed up, ask them how soon they want to make money, right? How soon they want to make, $300. Ask them if they want to do it in 30 days or 90 days. Just so that way you can set the pace for them. Well, I guess really they're setting the pace, and then you can help them keep up that pace. The last thing we actually don't have on the website, which will hopefully be on the website soon, is MB refills. Now, this wasn't announced at convention. It was just announced a couple of days ago, actually, that MB refills are here to stay. So
Good.
how exciting. I mean, especially for those who have that extra powder, they're not able to take, whatever it does to their tummies, right? They can't take the full 4 scoops. They're trying to work up to it. Once they hit that 4th scoop, it's just not, feeling right for them. They're still able to order the singles, which is awesome. The only thing is they still can only order it on one-time orders. The more data we can get, we'll, be able to dive into more options on if we'll be able to put it on subscription option and whatnot. The frequency of how often people are just buying the 1 bottle, all of that good stuff. So definitely stay tuned for more details on that. But I think that's all.
Yes, good. Well, I hadn't heard that yet. That must have been on the Tuesday thing or something, because I must have missed that, because I don't think they told us that on the elite call on the executive.
No, not yet. Communications, I think we're coming out soon.
Okay.
But there you guys go. You got
Thanks for letting us know. That's awesome. Okay, well, I'll let you get to your puppy hunt, and we pray that you can find the puppy. And
fingers crossed.
Yeah, good luck, Brinley.
Oh, and
Thank
then
you guys.
I wanted to announce just the gem rank winners. Thanks again, Brinley, for helping us out.
Bet.
Love it.
Have a good night, you guys.
Bye.
The gem rank for March, Denise Reck was the diamond winner, Kathy Macbeth Sapphire winner, Janice Laravino was the emerald winner, and Faye Bremer was the onyx winner. So remind me if you have not gotten your Axio from me, because I was waiting for convention so that we could give you the new either peach or the dragon, or the, not the dragon, I was gonna say dragon blood, tiger blood. So anyway, I was going to give you those two. And then the April winners, we had Monica Vanderwall for the Sapphire. Emerald was Kelly Struby, and the Onyx was Mindy Bogard Dieger. So those have been, most of them have been delivered. I think I need to get Kathy hers, and Faye, remind me to get you yours as well, because I owe you that for tomorrow. But to our special guest, we thank so much. Amy Potas is on. She's an executive one, lives in Sioux Falls with her husband, Kevin, and they have 5 children. They're a blended family. They've been married almost 9 years, 2 grandbabies, and a third on the way in August. So congrats. The grandbabies are the best.
Yes.
She has been in pharmaceutical sales for over 31 years. She's been in Lifevantage for 3 years, and she's already an executive one and growing fast. But they have an amazing team, and I've gotten to know her because she's in the Sioux Falls market. Even though we're not in the same, direct line, we're cross cousins, but we love to kind of collaborate and work together. And that's the beauty of what our business does. It's that culture that we have where we all help each other, no matter whose team you're on. And it's just been fun to see them rise up the ranks so fast. And she and her husband, Kevin, did speak on stage at convention. So you're in for a treat, because she's going to share a little bit about that. But Amy, I'm going to toss it to you, and just, you're such a sweetheart, such a great friend, and I'm so glad that this business brought us together. Share your story, why you're excited about Lifevantage, and a little bit about what you talked about on stage. And also maybe share a little bit about being a professional, because when you're a pharmaceutical rep and you have to know the facts about every drug that you're selling, the contraindications, what's in it, what's the mechanism of action, all the different things. And in a way, we're doing the same thing with knowing our products, the benefits, how they work or what they do. And not that we have to know everything, but know the bullet points and the talking points. So when you speak to somebody about, a solution, that you can talk to them intelligently about the benefits. And that's kind of what I wanted Amy to share with her background of how it kind of mirrors what we do here. So Amy, take it away. Give us.
Well, thank you. Thanks, Marilyn, for that sweet introduction. Yeah, Marilyn's one of the first people I met when we were having our like super Saturdays, and she's just been just a gem, so sweet. And it's been fun. Like she said, we are not in the same upline, but we are cross cousins and sisters. So we see each other here at events here. And so it's just been fun to get to know her better. And you guys are blessed to have such an amazing leader. So I met Faye. It's so funny because I met Faye walking to the convention. I was probably like stressing out because I don't think it was the morning I had to talk, but I was like stressed the whole convention. So yes, Kevin and I were on the big stage, and I'll share a little bit about what we talked about, but I'll just start a little bit with our story. Both Kevin and I have been in the pharmaceutical world for a long time. And he's sorry he's not here tonight. He's actually flying home. He had a meeting in Pittsburgh today, and so he's on a plane home and gets home at midnight. But we've been in this pharma journey together. We've been married almost 10 or 9 years, and he was in the pharma prior to me also. So we've been in the pharmaceutical world for almost 31 years. And why it helped us probably see what an amazing blessing this is just because we've come to realize like there's so many things that we were just helping people Band-Aid fix in pharmaceuticals. And what we have our hands on here, you guys, is gold. It really, really is. And so how our story begins is that we were at a Yellowstone party. I mean, it gets bad, it gets good. And we were introduced to Michelle and Sean Poe, and Kevin he played two sports in college. He played golf and football. And so he had shoulder injuries, and arthritis is in his family. And so his quality of life in his 50s had just not been great at all. We had been to several orthopedists. He'd done acupuncture, he'd been on Mobic, he'd done all the things and still was not having really a great quality of life. And so when we got introduced to Protandim, we were like, this is so weird. We've never heard of this. How do we not know a thing about this? And when we started digging into it, why I say I think my background was a huge benefit is I look at studies all day long. I'm talking to physicians, right? So I've got to kind of know my science. And when I started digging into the Protandim and the studies, because at the time collagen wasn't even here, like it's so funny how many great products have come out in the last 3 years. We came and I thought we had a lot of stuff then. I just could not believe the science behind this, and it was actually overwhelming to me. And Kevin and I jumped in and bought a big business pack. We weren't sure what we were going to do with the business, but he had change in his shoulder in about 2 weeks, a little bit less. And being on the Tri-Synergizer, he woke up, he was on a business trip in a hotel somewhere. He could never sleep on that shoulder. And he knew that like something had definitely changed, and all he had added in were these products. And so from there, our story just goes that, I also got on the products because we bought in that big pack. And I had a 9.5 pound baby 21 years ago, and of course had a 3rd-degree tear with that. And I never thought taking an all natural product that activated me would have anything to do with my stress incontinence. But lo and behold, if you go to pubmed.gov and you look up oxidative stress and overactive bladder, they go together. And so I had this amazing change of that. So you can only, when the two of us are talking, I had something I never thought was going to change, nor was I really ever talking about. And then Kevin had this huge shoulder change, and just feeling better. When you are in chronic pain, you don't sleep well, your energy level sucks, your mood sucks. And so he had such a big change, not just only feeling better, but then starting to have better sleep and energy. And it just was natural that we were talking about it then, because, right, you have these changes, and you just can't help but talk about it. And so from there, our business it just kind of happened organically. But I'm always thankful, and you guys probably think about who your first person is that ever took a chance on your business with you. And we aren't really, you'll notice if you follow us on Facebook or we're Facebook friends, we don't really build on social media because Kevin and I both still work full time in our other jobs. And so we're sort of building this quietly. But Kevin put this post up after he was feeling so great, because I told you he couldn't really hide his enthusiasm. And it said, have you ever had a product that's changed your life? And that's all he put up. And our friends in Texas, George and Teresa Caldas, who you maybe have heard of, George said, I don't know what you got, but I want it. And Teresa is a physical rehab medicine doctor there. And so we got on Zoom with them, with Michelle and Sean Poe, and they immediately were all in. And George is like, I want to try it, and I want to get the big pack. We'll sign up. And that's just kind of how our business took off. So nothing magical, but it just happened organically. So that's a little bit about our story. Like I said, we build a little more traditionally, person to person, shoulder to shoulder. But yeah, so here we are, almost we got in January. So it's been almost 3.5 years, and what a blessing this has been to us. And, I think you look at, I had never done anything like this before. I had never, ever been in multi-level marketing. I was as skeptic as anyone. But I keep going back to the science. When I saw some of those studies, and one that really stuck out to me was the study that showed, with the Protandim, the Tecfidera, which is the MS drug, because I have a dear college friend that has MS. And when I saw that study and that scientist had to put on that paper that Protandim would have been the better choice for patients with MS, I really, and I'm very familiar with Biogen as a pharmaceutical company. I just really knew what we had our hands on was something really awesome. And so, you know, because I have a pharmaceutical background, yes, that's great, but I always say anybody can do this, right? And yes, you do need to know stuff, but I think more importantly is you need to know where to direct people to find their information. You don't have to know everything front and back and every single ingredient and things, but I think having the passion and also just being so confident, you guys, you should never not feel confident about our products. They are backed by science and it is airtight. The Protandim family of products that we have with the science, I mean, be proud because what we have our hands on truly is gold. I always say that when just comparing it and giving you guys some like kind of, this should make you feel really good. I have a product right now that I talk about because I'm still in my full-time job, my corporate job that I can't wait to exit soon. But I have a product for patients that have tardive dyskinesia, which is involuntary movement. And we have one study that we funded, you guys. So when you think about what we have and all of these third parties like Harvard University and, the American Journal of Cardiology and LSU, they all came to us, meaning Lifevantage, and wanted to do these studies. So we weren't even paying for them. And so that's another really huge thing for me is that we have so much data and it's data that we didn't fund, and that's a big deal. So the third party and the science is what really sealed the deal for us in coming over here and then looking at, I've had some other friends that have done multi-level marketing companies, but I think one of the other really big things is having it be a consumable, right? Because my really good friend sold cabbie clothes for a while, and I've had another friend that, does makeup, and you can only do so much of that. Like, I'm a great consumer, but I only need so much of that stuff. And so that's the other thing that I always tell people when they're thinking about this business or they're comparing it is it's a consumable. And if you are compliant, like you need to be to have the results, you're taking it every single day, right? And at the end of the month, you're ready for your next subscription where you can only have so many eyeshadows and you can only have so many cabbie outfits. So that's another caveat that I love to bring up when we're talking to people is, we have this thing, these products and they're gems, and they're not only is there so much science behind it, but then also it's a consumable. And to me, that's a huge deal for a multi-level marketing company. So anyway, that's a little bit about my background in the pharmaceuticals and kind of how Kevin and I got in. I was just going to tell you guys, I just adore Brinley, and so it was fun that she was on tonight. You guys have a huge opportunity right now because getting to EC1 is really the ticket to that executive trip. And I don't know, besides Marilyn and I, is anybody else EC1 on here?
I don't think so, no.
Okay, so that trip was literally designed for you guys to run for EC1. Last year, Kevin and I were lucky enough to get to go on the South Africa trip. And I will tell you guys, it felt like I was living the Lion King. It really was a dream trip. It happens so fast too. Like I'm like, God, that was a whirlwind to South Africa in a week. But it was such a magical trip. I just really hope every single one of you guys on here can experience that executive trip because it just changes everything. And for us, if you heard me talk at convention, we mentioned some people. What happened to us there is that we got placed in, we got to go on 6 safaris and we got placed with people. And Marcel Niederhauser was one of the people with his wife, and we didn't know them at all. And if you guys don't know who they are, they're one of the first people that came here. They're one of the top earners at our company. And the reason it was just so amazing is because basically for 3 full days in the jungle, where we were on a safari early in the morning and then again in the afternoon, guess what? Marcel poured into us and we become really pretty good friends with him. And so, now I've got somebody who is not my direct upline, but they are just a powerhouse here at our company. And those connections are priceless. And so not only was it this magical dream trip that I never ever would have thought we would go to South Africa, but then also those connections that we made there, they're just like, they're so valuable, and we've learned so much. We're evolving just like everybody is. So that just, I just can't express enough. Like, if Thailand isn't on your dream board, or isn't, I feel like, oh, I don't know if I can do it. Get with Marilyn, get with Brinley, figure out what you can do. You can do it. But you've got to be strategic. But literally, when I say it's designed for people to get to EC1, you've got to hit EC1, which is 80,000. It's a lot. I'm not going to lie. If it was easy, everybody'd be going on that trip. But if you make a path to it and you really get strategic about how you want to go, it's doable for everybody. So anyway, I just that was such a huge thing for us. And Marilyn had asked me a little bit about what we had talked about at convention. Our theme was spark, let's see, what was it? Spark, igniting the spark for your team, basically. And we talked a lot about grit on our talk. And I don't know if you guys know this about us, but we have Kevin's middle son is a Navy SEAL. And so we went through, if you heard my talk at convention, we went through a lot with him becoming a SEAL. Like, that is probably the ultimate definition of grit. And there were a lot of times where, it's hard to be the parents of someone who's going through Hell Week. No one wants their child in Hell Week, right? And so I think what we took away from that is, when we asked him, well, what's your backup plan if you don't go through? Because most people don't make it. They ring the bell and quit, which means they're just done. You don't get another chance. He just said there isn't one. And that's how much determination and grit he had. He was very confident he was going to go through. And so I think sometimes we get stuck in our own heads, like, oh, this is so hard. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it. And I just always think about, listen, we had somebody who got through Navy SEAL training, became a Navy SEAL. We can do anything, but it's just really, really staying true when even it gets hard. And even as an executive rank, we're still struggling. I still have all the same struggles you guys do. Who am I going to talk to this week? Oh my gosh, this person ghosted me. I just had that happen. Somebody you think is like really a prominent prospect, and then all of a sudden, no, guess not. I don't know why they did that. That's on them, right? I did everything I could. So we still have all the same ups and downs that you guys have, that everybody has, basically. But I think just never giving up. Somebody told us, like, really early on in this business, that the only way you're not going to succeed here is if you quit. And so just keeping moving forward, looking for your people that you've enrolled that are wanting to actually run is a key. And I think one of the things, I was thinking about how we got to EC1, and of course the Mind Body launch helped, but the other thing that, and this is great because everybody can find somebody that they have enrolled that probably wants to run for this, and if you haven't ran for it yet, you should, is Growth Summit. We had 5 people go to Growth Summit this last time, and it changes everything. Has anybody been on here? Okay. Oh, good. I'm going to talk about it for a few minutes then. So, I would encourage you to all put Growth Summit on your goals, because it's getting to MC1. It's $10,000 in volume, but it allows you to get to go up to the home office and really have about 2 days of getting poured into by top leaders, and they pay for everything. Our 5 people that went, they all got headshots. They got to go up into the mountains and go to a really fun, they went to the Sundance restaurant up there. So it's just really a special time. And it really helps you see the vision of the company and the possibilities. And then the personal development that you get is just priceless, right? Like, some people might have that in their job, but a lot of people don't have that. And so that personal development that you're getting with that Growth Summit is just so valuable and so amazing. And so basically you need to hit MC1 and then you have to have it for 3 months. You have to hold it 3 months total. So you've got to have it 2 months afterwards. That is one of the things that I think has helped us evolve recently, because like I said, we have 5 people that just came back from that, and it's helped them to develop into leaders. And so I would just encourage you guys all to get with Marilyn, figure out, what your path looks like to that. There's still plenty of time to earn Growth Summit this year. And I think from that you will just gain so much knowledge, and also your belief just builds, because you get to experience all of that. So, and then the other thing that I think for us is really never missing an event. And people say this all the time, but it's so important. I had 4 people come that had never been to anything, like nothing, to Salt Lake City, and they've just changed, like something in them has just changed. But they heard all those stories, they see all those people on stage, and you just, everything changes for you, and the magic really happens at convention. So I would just say get registered for Dallas if you aren't, and try to find somebody that will go with you. Like bring somebody that you've signed up with you, because it will change everything for you. That's been one thing that's really helped us build our business, is getting people to those events. But then I think it's too is just, following the system. And I'm sure you guys are all doing the ITT and using that third party. I mean, that's so valuable. You can say it 100 times, but then when Marilyn says it or Faye says it comes out differently, and it's just how it is. And sometimes people come into this business and I think they want to like reinvent the wheel, and I'm like, no, just we already have a system that works really great. You just have to trust it. So those are just a few things that I guess came to the top of my mind. I mean, really what we have here, you guys, is we're so blessed. Not only do we have amazing products, but we have a company that's so rock solid, to be publicly traded, debt free, to have Aaron Brockovich on our board of directors, the Aaron Brockovich. I mean, it's a really great company. And then the community here, sometimes you come into this and you don't even realize that you needed that. I had somebody who just said to me, I had no idea what this community would do for me. I didn't even think I needed it, but I did. And we all need that, right? It's hard to find good people that are of the same beliefs of you and that are looking for the same things. And one of the things that I loved on stage, and a couple people that had never been brought up to me, is that there were so many people that spoke that shared a little bit about something of faith in their journey. And I loved that we're in this company where people are openly saying that, it just reminds you you're in all the like-minded. So I loved that we heard so much of that in Salt Lake City. So anyway, that's my story. If you guys have any questions, I'm an open book. We're super transparent. So ask away if there's anything you want to ask.
That is so awesome. So when you talked about the spark in your team, was there like a few steps that you're like bullet points you went over for?
I think the thing that we talked a lot about grit, which is what I talked about. And then, just following those processes is, and I can get you guys, I'm actually texted Brinley, but I don't think she texted me back yet. We're supposed to have our copy of our talk. Following the process is really a big part of the deal, but then just not wavering. A lot of times what we see on our team is when somebody says no, then they think, oh gosh, I don't know if I want to do this anymore, or I don't know if this is for me, or you're going to get a no. You're going to have people, there's going to be people that are going to be like, oh, you're in one of those. You have to just get over it. I mean, we all were there. So I think, the process is staying the course and not wavering. And then another huge thing about what we talked about on stage is, what's your why? Because your why is your North Star. And it's okay right now if you don't know what your why is, think about it and write it down, because it's really important. And so we talked a lot about knowing your why, and your why connects you also to your customers. It really does. So that would be my thing from our talk. Like that was kind of our ask is, get your why, write it down, and then say it to somebody out loud This is why I'm doing this. And I think sometimes your whys change also, and that's okay. It can evolve as your business evolves. So don't be afraid if, you know, your why in the beginning was, I just wanted to get in this and get healthy. And now your why might change to, now I want to help other people get healthy. It's okay if it changes. So
Love that. Well, so many great nuggets. So
Faye's
many.
got a question.
Oh, Fade, go ahead.
Yeah, unmute.
Let's see. I'll unmute you. Sorry.
Okay, are we good?
There you go.
Yeah.
I would like your opinion on what would be your go-to products for someone with MS.
Yeah, well, that's funny because I had Dr. Nancy help me with my friend Angie, and they have so much inflammation that the NRF2 is a complete no-brainer. The goal is to try to get them to the trisynergizer, but like with her, we had to start really slow. We started with Nerf2, and she had to start taking a half a tablet when she started with the Nerf2, and then working up to NRF1 and NAD. The other thing, which you might not, we know this, but their guts are such a mess that, like my friend literally lives on Tylenol and all of those products. And so, getting her gut better was a huge part of that also. And so really making sure they're doing the probiotic, and then the collagen, those were the staples. So,
I'm asking because my husband has MS and he has myasthenia gravis and a liver disease, so he's a wreck.
you taking the NRF2?
He did for a couple of months and now I'm trying to get him, and then he just went off, so I somehow have to make him a believer, but
But
you know,
just tell him
family's the hardest.
the drug rep that was on tonight said he better get on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's that grit part of that, right? Like, oh, I
Yep.
didn't really see anything change after 2 months and now I'm bailing off, or it feels like I'm spending a lot of money and I don't know what's happening.
Yeah.
I think just saying to him, listen, you can show him that study, right? There's the study, it's printed. So he can see that. And it basically says in there, I don't know if he's ever taken Tecfidera, but if he has, it says it's a better option. So there's that. There's also that interview with Montel Williams for MS. If you haven't seen, it's from quite a while ago. If you just search like Montel Williams and like probably Protandim, it'll probably come up. But
Okay.
that's also another really good thing to solidify that. But I think just even going into PubMed and doing a search on oxidative stress and MS, you can show him there'll be so many articles that will correlate with that. And so then it's not, that's more third partying for him. It's not Faye saying that.
Right.
You don't have to disprove the research, right? You don't
Right.
have to, because it's already right in front of you. But then I think it's just taking it slow too, like one change at a time, if he can just commit to Nerf2, like just try to get him to commit to Nerf2.
Yep. Yep.
That really is our cornerstone flagship product that everybody needs.
Yeah, I also have a sister-in-law with Parkinson's, so I'm trying to carefully reach out to her also, but I'm like, I don't know which products to actually say, but maybe the same with that, just Protandim and then
Tandem.
And I'm sure Marilyn will agree. The Nerf2, really, there isn't a single person that can't benefit from it. Remember, so this is a little like just from my background. When you do a study, you look to see how effective it's going to be in everybody. And when we do a pharmaceutical study, we're lucky if it's like, just to give you an idea, I used to sell antidepressants. The antidepressants are a 50-50 shot that they're going to work. So when you start an antidepressant, literally it's either 50% that you're going to have effect or not effect. Remember with Protandim, our p-value, which means how effective this is 99.9%. There's no drug out there that is that effective. And so confidently you can say to anybody, Protandim is going to work no matter what in you. You might not feel a difference. you might not see a difference. Remember, what do they say? You need to be on it for a month for every decade you're alive. But we know it's going in there and it's cleaning up your cells. So
Good.
yeah. So we know it's working. It's and again, that's something we don't have to prove that because we already have the science for that. But every single person on this Zoom right now taking Protandim, it's working, but it's, it's working different in me. I'm menopausal and got all kinds of stuff going on. So my oxidated stress is different than Faye's oxidated stress and different than Ruth's oxidated stress, but we know it's working. And Michelle Poe always says it's like a heat-seeking missile. It goes to where you have the most oxidated stress first and works, and then goes to the next spot. And that's why sometimes people have things that change years after they've been on it. So I think just the biggest thing is getting people to realize it's a commitment. It's a long-term commitment. It's not a Band-Aid fix, and we're in a Band-Aid fix world. But it's a long-term commitment.
And that glutathione study, don't you think that's powerful? It upregulates your glutathione by 300%, the
Huge.
protein. Well, glutathione, have you ever seen the Parkinson's video of the man that has the injection of the glutathione and all of a sudden he can walk straight and he
Yep.
can, but it's an injection of glutathione. Well, guess what? Your Protandim is upregulating that glutathione by 300% and after 4 months, and then, the longer you stay on it, that upregulation of that extra glutathione, and that's what that does to that. It passes the blood-brain barrier, and so, and Amy probably knows more about how to speak to that too, but that's always been a good study to go to for things like Parkinson's, MS, or just anybody with they say it's removing the metals and the toxins from the brain. It's like a sticky paper of that glutathione is. That it's like, isn't that how you would explain it?
Yeah. And people that are, I always look at like, if you had MS or if you've had Parkinson's, like, and even my husband, Kevin, he had all this shoulder pain. He was living on extra strength Tylenol. Those people, that will rob your glutathione. It literally depletes you of glutathione. And so that's one of the things that, most people don't even realize that that's depleting them of. But here we have something all natural that will bring, can help activate your own glutathione by 300%. So that's another thing. Is anybody who's ever taking, if they're taking Tylenol or Advil every day, it's a big deal because it's depleting it. So
Love that. Well, we could go on all night, but thank you so much for hopping on and sharing with us. You're just a gem, and just so many great nuggets that you shared. I love your story. And I just admire you guys so much because you've got the grit and you've got the results, and you guys are on your way to EC2 and beyond. And it's been amazing. So we're going to let you hop off. And
Thank you so much.